There we go. Welcome everyone to Go Guild World Christmas Edition. We haven't had Meetup in a couple of months, so there's a lot of news actually that's come up before Christmas, which is really good. So kind of an extended news session this month. So thanks for joining. So start off with some announcements and news. Go turns. Apologies, I've got a lot of light coming through. Go turns 15. I think it was November or sort of end of November, which is quite cool. 2009. You don't really think about how old it's become, but it's certainly fantastic that it's come this far. 123.4 is released. That includes some small fixes to runtime and compile. We've also got the RC1 release candidate out as well, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a second. Saw this last night. GitHub is releasing or has announced a free tier for Copilot. Haven't quite delved into how many tokens it is, but I don't think it's very generous, but still it's quite good to have a free tier on Copilot. It's very good to see. So yeah, I think that might maybe shut some of the competitors up, but very good. A 2000 auto completes 50 chats. Yeah, I don't know how long that will get me, but we'll see. Goland 24.3 is out. I've selected a couple of features here as well. So inspection for import cycles, you can see kind of what's importing, so you can't see it from the terminal, which is quite good. Yeah, from the terminal sometimes it's quite I don't know, and it's nice to see it in the UI here regardless. You can also manage multiple services. I didn't know this as well, so kind of a good way to, like, if you've got 3 binaries to manage within Go, you can kind of see it in the services tab here and have its own commands. I haven't played with it, but it looks really good. So like in a single sub window kind of thing. And also they've released new AI prompts, so a kind of very easy way to interact with their own version of AI. I actually haven't tried it, but it looks very semantic in the way to introduce functions to reverse a slice and then just quite cool. So that looks quite good. Onto other bits and pieces. Microsoft releases new builds for them. I had heard about this briefly before, but and I was wondering, I was digging around as to know why they were actually doing this, and it's due to being cryptographically compliant with FIPS requirements. So quite interesting they're doing this. I didn't know that they did before. So for any cloud or enterprise services where they have to be kind of compliant. So that's quite interesting. Go's popularity increasing. I was really happy to see Go above Node here. So Cloudflare actually they analyze their traffic. I'm not sure how they do it. Maybe there's some sort of header they latch onto, but yeah, they've analyzed API client traffic, and Go was 12%. So this is requests made to their like APIs. So 12%, and you can see Node there at 10, Python 9.6. So good to see Go gaining traction and overtaking these massive frameworks like Python, Node, Java, etc. So on to 124 RC1. So they're expecting a stable release at the second week of February. Now, I'm just going to go in. I'm going to go in with some features. So we've got a second week of February of stable. A second, here we go. So first big feature is generic type aliases. So kind of allows you to make a comparable type. So you can do type X is equal to, etc. Don't know when I would use this, but good to have it. The GitHub issue was absolutely massive just to get one kind of example code there, but that's always good. There's been a lot of changes to CMD Go, so we've got a lot more features coming. Go.mod has got a new directive, so tool. So I think kind of when you're using Mockery, you have to have a tools.go file. Now you can just have a go get kind of, I think we've got on the next slide here, go get tool, my thing, and then you can use it as so here. So go get tool and go tool stringer, for example, here. So yeah, perfect for use with stuff like Mockery and stuff. So you don't actually have to have like a tools.go, which is really cool. And it's good to see that the go.mod is being extended here. I don't know what other use cases that there might be for this, but I'm sure there'll be some as we get 124 out. And here's it from the release docs here. So go get stringer, go tool stringer, which will run the binary and stuff like that. So very good. Go has introduced a new command called version as well. So you can effectively stamp the binary with a version and LD flags. This is a common approach for adding versioning, but what you can actually do now is do go version and it's already in the binary, which is really handy. I think if it doesn't find the main version, it will fall back to something else, but it's very nice to have this out of the box, which is really good. So yeah, I guess there's no more need to add a Cobra or CLI command called version because it's already there, which is great. Go test JSON. This is a small one, so go test -JSON. You get nice JSON output as well. This will be really good for CI/CD failures. I think there's an already package that does this, but it's good to see that this is now included in the binary. And I think you can do go build with this as well. Go build -JSON. You can see kind of what goes on. But anything, if you want to build something or test something, you can see build errors or info with JSON now, which is fantastic. Standard library crypto gets 4 new packages. So LChem package, which implements Chem 76.8, 1024, never heard of them, but they do something. Key exchange for FIPS. So this is quite interesting. So I was reading about Microsoft having these binaries, and I was reading about 124 having compliance for FIPS. So I wonder whether or not we see Microsoft depreciating these libraries. I don't know. I don't know if this is what this is enough for them. Be interesting to know. We'll see regardless. But yeah, we've got three packages, as I said. So you see them on the right there. I think one of them is a HMAC based. One of them is improving SHA or SHA-3, I think it is. Yeah. PBKDF2, never heard of it, but there's some more crypto bits and pieces to the library there, which is great. I think a lot of devs have looked at this and got quite excited about new standard lib weak package. So just a reminder about what weak pointers are. I had to do a bit more research as well. I've never used them, but it's good that we're getting them. So they allow developers to reference memory without preventing the garbage collector from reclaiming it. Prevent visible dangling references. Weak pointers become nil when the reference memory is collected. And weak pointers can be converted to strong pointers, which prevent the garbage collector from reclaiming that memory. There's a really good tutorial there. I'll give you the slides afterwards, but you can see on the right here that there's a weak.make. We can a weak.strong that you can call from. And I was kind of thinking that I think the best example or why you should use weak, I mean, it's a very specific use case, but one would be caching systems. So I just read what I've got here. Goal of a cache is to store objects in memory temporarily and to speed up access times. However, if memory pressure becomes way too high, some cached objects should be eligible for garbage collection to free up resources. And that makes it memory efficient. We've got automatic cleanup, and then there's flexible retrieval. So you can see on the right here, I've kind of made a map string weak pointer and a large object, and that's a kind of caching system. My object would be data of heavy data, cache key, weak.make. And you can see there, I've got a cache hit or a cache miss, and then I can reload data. So good to see. It's very specific, but I think very good to have the language. It would be good to see some examples that you guys think that you might use this, or if you ever do end up using it. I think for big data structures, certainly be interesting to see the use of weak. But anyway, I don't think we've got him on the call, but I'm sure David would be happy with this one. So we've got a new one of emit 0. So people found that sometimes emit empty can be quite not very verbose, not a bit that it doesn't really understand what it's doing. And I agree. I mean, like for nested structs particularly, you don't really know what will print from that. So will it print like the empty values? Will it be nil? So this is where emit 0 comes along. So at the moment, if you marshal empty struct here, you're going to get the 0 values of empty struct. So if I've got an empty string of hello in that empty struct type, it's going to print an empty string. So emit 0 kind of change this. So this is an example here. So we've got empty struct with emit empty struct with emit 0, and then a time one that I've kind of just done for an example, because I think that was the original issue on GitHub, is time is a struct. So it's like, why am I getting empty time values? So emit 0 comes along. So example 1, we marshal just empty. So empty struct is an empty struct, you can see, and then but empty struct with emit 0 is not there, which is great. So you can basically just say, I don't want it to be null value, I don't want it to be an empty object or a null value if it's a pointer, I just want it to not be there. So emit 0 is your friend there. And a one with a kind of a time field. So with emit empty and emit 0. So yeah, quite handy as well. It's good that we're getting that. I think emit empty is really confusing for when people start. It's like, what does this actually do? So now we've got both side by side, really good. Sync tests, that's a shame. One of my images hasn't pulled forward. So sync tests, there's a new packet. I think there's a new package. I can't tell. So there's a new synctest.run package. So it kind of really helps to eliminate time.sleeps in your tests. And basically kind of it spawns an isolated kind of bubble. And then Go routines within that bubble are isolated from the rest of the program. So deterministic concurrent tests, which is really cool. I'm sorry that there's no image there, but have a look at some examples. It does look very powerful. So good to see there. So I think, yeah, a lot of the examples in that slide or that PowerPoint for 124, it was just removing these time.sleeps because it's very deterministic. And so that's quite cool. And of course, there's more info here on the release notes, Google announcement, and the presentation the chap put together not so long ago. There's more ones there. On to community. So I don't know who was at GopherCon or who's seen GopherCon videos, particularly UK. I went with a couple of colleagues here. Cameron is actually the product lead of Go. I mean, what a job. He is a very, very good speaker. He's always very, very engaging. If you haven't seen his talk on the business of Go see it. It's fantastic. It's really cool to see how people adopting Go now. So yeah, that's really cool. Temple UI, my absolute favorite package. I'm gonna do probably a separate video on Temple, but this chap Axel, he has made a Temple UI library with Tailwind. So I'll give an example of what Temple looks like. So it's basically a strongly typed HTML component. So unlike the normal HTML template where you're passing in a dot, which is your context, and you get runtime, you have to do it on runtime, dot, what is this, or I'm not quite sure. This makes it absolutely very clear of what you're going to render. So here I've got a component for a tag. A tag accepts a size, color, text, and class. and you get all the like really nice autocomplete for Go, as you would just writing HTML, which is amazing. I think it has its use cases. I think my kind of rule of thumb is that if I have to log in somewhere, I wouldn't use this. I'd probably navigate towards like SvelteKit or Vue, whatever. But for building websites, it's amazing. Sometimes you have to kind of give up a bit of developer experience. You have to, obviously, because HTML template is relying on runtime builds, so you can just do Command R and you can see everything in the window there, but you have to reload the binary for this to work. So every time you change a bit of HTML, you're taking 2 or 3 seconds to view these changes. I mean, I think it swings and roundabouts with these sort of things. I would prefer to go this way because I know that when I deploy a Go app, it's going to be very memory efficient. I'm not going to have to pay more because, I don't know, JS framework is taking up more memory. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts really, but I absolutely love Temple. There's a lot of other competitors out there as well with Temple, but it's been great. Melky, who's come on the show, I think, when was it, September, he's got some free courses on PFG Labs, his new site, for those of you interested in picking up Go Basics. The more advanced stuff is paid, but his new site is really cool if you want to go and check it out. Onto tools and packages. My colleague Matthew has been was scraping a lot in the last couple of weeks, and I thought I'd do a little scraping kind of packages go-to here, starting with Go Query. For those of you who haven't heard of it, pretty much jQuery for Go. Very, very good. It's got a kind of HTTP, a new document from reader, so you can pass in an IO reader, and it will read everything, and then you can start interacting with the DOM. Absolutely love Go Query. As I said, it's just for kind of interacting with DOM elements. It's not specifically designed for getting the data or crawling the data, but for just interacting with them. But a very powerful package nonetheless. Collie is more of a collector or a crawler, so it's very quick. It's very easy to kind of navigate. So you can see here on every A element, I want to print off its href, and then you can go and visit every A element in that site. So you can crawl a website very easily. One thing to note, that obviously this isn't JS rendered. So now that we've got a lot of sites that are heavy on JavaScript, hopefully they're not because of SEO, because of crawl budgets and that sort of thing, but this will not or ignore content that is JS rendered. So that's Collie. If you do want to crawl something that's JS rendered, or if you want to interact with the DOM a bit more, I don't know, if you want to click a button, for example, in the DOM and then get some data, or is you're doing an AJAX request or something like that, Chrome DP is your friend there. It's a lot slower because you actually have to boot up an instance of Chrome, and if you can pass in like a headless flag, so you can see the actual browser as you're doing this code, which is quite cool. It's interesting because you can see, like, if you want Chrome DP dot go to or dot click and things like, you can see it interacting with the DOM itself. So that's a really nice package by Chrome itself there. Yeah, so if you need that content that's JS rendered, consider using Chrome DP. And the last one is Katana, which is more of a CLI tool. So if you're looking just like, oh, I need some quick data out from a website, definitely go ahead with that. I think this is based off of Chrome DP from what I was looking at. But yeah, more of a CLI tool and like a dump or a CSV kind of dump file. But yeah, very good by Project Discovery. On to Go packages. You want to run GitHub Actions locally, Act. So it has over 50k stars, kind of de facto packages. That's built with Go. Source code makes for a very interesting read if you want to go and have a look. And that's Nectos Act. Nectos Act. Very good. Test VGT, so you can visualize Go tests here. You can kind of see it in the browser. Good for parallelism, stuff like that. Got a very simple, clean API. Good for slow tests. If you want to know why a test is becoming slow, this will be a good gauge as to why it is. I had to put this in there. I love anything music, so Signals, the cool way of spelling it, a MIDI sequencer in Go. Yeah, amazing what you can build with Go, to be honest. Quite impressive GUI of how that's made. That website there, it doesn't have much mention of Go, but the website is just incredible. And tools. If you're looking for some really good documentation, Mintlify has got a free tier, and basically you just I've forgotten the actual templating engine, but really nice documentation. I mean, it looks just beautiful. I don't know what it's built in, but I thought I'd mention it there. MDX, that's it. That's what the templates, but yeah, very good. It's got like AI chat. It's quite expensive for the business tier, but if you want to just document something for, I don't know, personal or side projects, that's really cool. And on the side project theme, you've also got Resend. So this email kind of engine is built specifically for devs. So if you want, a quick Google API, email API key, that's got a really generous free tier. Yeah, the SDKs are really good. I love it when you see like a package and it's just got like 10, 15 SDKs. It's supposed to just like JavaScript and Python. But yeah, Resend is really good. Onto some blog posts or some community blog posts that I've seen worth a shout out. So this is a really interesting one. One is a performance gotcha with Go Max Proc. So this guy Chris, he had a very high CPU usage because it was Go Max Proc was defaulting to 192 cores, which is a lot, instead of the container limits. Because obviously if you're running a container, I don't know, obviously it might be quite different to what your actual host is. I don't know. I was saying, yeah, the cores Go runtime functions, these scale with max procs and leading to kind of inefficiency in containerized environments, i.e. when you're using Docker, which is pretty much everywhere. The fix was, and the TLDR was, setting Go Max procs explicitly to match the container limit of the container limit, or using Uber auto max procs as well. You can do that as well. So that's a gotcha, a good one, a good read there. For those of you, I mean, we should always be interested in writing secure code, but nonetheless, Jacob shows us how to keep our Go code secure and up to date using GoVet, static check, Golvun check as well. I haven't heard of that. That looked quite interesting, but it's all there. And there's another article on the bottom there, which is by Snike, which is kind of understanding command line injections or vulnerabilities in Go, which is quite a good read there. Fuzz testing. I don't do enough fuzz testing. I think I don't know if you guys do. I think but it's great. I think we're doing enough of it. But this was really interesting about fuzz testing your HTTP services, and how you can fuzz test like the result of a call to your endpoint. So this is a really good read about how Alex goes into doing that and stuff like that. So yeah, they're very good. I think that was bang on time. I think that was everything. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much.